It's a very relaxing opening night, but it gets us all kind of present, and it does it for me too. When I'm here, I've got all my mind shattered, but when I do that, it just makes me come in here present. Thank you, Seth, for all of your help. Setting up the temple this morning after our fair yesterday. He got here early, and thank you so much for all your help and that beautiful music. And welcome to Fabienne Marneau, our guest speaker. Fabienne and I met years ago at the Holistic Healing Expo that was held at the Goddess Temple in Irvine. And we had a booth there, and I went over and looked at your angel paintings and told you I did angel paintings as well, and we exchanged business cards, and we've stayed connected ever since. And we've in and out. Fabienne is a hypnotherapist, a fabulous esthetician, artist, meditation leader, group leader, and she leads a group of it's a women's shelter. Yeah. And they're you go over there free, and you lead a group to empower them and help them meditate.
Different shelters for helping with addictions.
So thank you for showing up to be of service in that way, so that women can be empowered. So I have some very, very exciting news to share. Some of you have already heard. We found a building where we're going to be moving. And if you were here last weekend, I was sharing about an experience I had had the weekend before in Oceanside at Lisa Nichols' workshop. And one of the most valuable tools I did as a takeaway there was she talked about creating the infrastructure. So when you want to grow and when you want to change, sometimes if our mind can't see how that's possible, it keeps us in that place. And I've known for years, when I first moved into the very small suite across the way, Fabienne saw that suite, she held some classes there. I moved in there in August of 2008, and I knew I'd be there less than a year, and that I would move to a larger suite inside the same complex. And we moved in here on July 1, less than a year after I was in that suite. I knew we'd be in this suite for about 3 years, and that we'd move to a building for about 5 years. And so we're moving out of here in August, right at the 3-year mark. So all of the visions that I was shown have come true. And I knew there would be a white building somewhere. I thought it would be on a corner, but I knew it was white, and I knew it was 2-story, and I knew it was quite a bit larger and quite a bit more expensive. And I've been getting the vision that it's going to be over here on this side of the freeway in the same area. And I was told that the rent was going to be a little more than twice what we pay here. And it's taken quite a lot of work and effort for us to get to the point where we pay our bills here with comfort, and I don't have my hand on the checkbook every day. But we make it now with some easy, gentle flow, still some paying attention to it. And I couldn't see how that was possible. I just thought, we're already doing everything we can, we're doing all of this marketing, we're doing these magazines, and I couldn't see how it was possible to come up with a double rent like that. And so I wasn't seeing the building, and I knew that was told I would see it sometime in May or June. So I prayed, and I went into spirit, and I said, show me how this is possible, so that I can create the space for the energy of that building to come into. And so I was shown a possibility, and I was shown that we're going to be going out to all the different spiritual leaders in Orange County. There are so many beautiful groups in this area that are meeting in people's homes, meeting in strip malls, meeting in rented space, and that we're going to go out and gather those groups and bring them all together and create an Orange County conscious community. And we're going to ask all the people that come together and come into this community to commit to a $20 a month sponsorship fee. And that is how we'll come up with that extra money of rent. But it wasn't really even about the money so much as it was the need of the money was the catalyst that went out there and said, I have a need, And here's the end result. We're going to be bringing together all of these communities. And there's so many of them, and I know who they all are. So my task now is I'm simply going to be calling all of these community leaders and bringing them together. I had that epiphany last Saturday. And I think I mentioned it on Sunday at services that I had a way it was going to work, and I made a joke over to Jesse and said we'll be talking about it at our staff meeting. And I didn't want to disclose it because we hadn't sort of talked to the team about it yet. So I was talking to the team on Tuesday in our staff meeting, and I was explaining how this was all going to work. We got excited. During the staff meeting, our broker called and said, I found a building. That's how it happens. That's the world that we live in. That's how we can manifest and create. The minute that Jesse and Tanya understood how we were going to do it and they nodded their head yes, it was about 5 minutes later that the phone rang. Tanya saw that it was Maddie, our broker, and she said, I'm being guided to get this. And she interrupted the staff meeting to take the call. And Maddie said, I found a building. We made arrangements to go and look at it the next day. I found out afterwards that Maddie had been looking for all the specifications that we had set, and she wasn't finding it on the MLS. And her husband, Dr. Kowalik, who comes over to our Celebrate Your Radiance team, maybe some of you have met him, said, look, just get in the car. You'll find it. A bizarre thing to do for a broker since there's so much ground to cover. But she got in her car, and she was guided, and she drove around, and when she went in the wrong direction, the angels looped her back, and she said she was feeling angelically guided, and they guided her right into the parking lot underneath the building that said Felice. And they literally took her right to the building. We went over and we saw it the next day, and it wasn't what I expected. I expected to have that we were going to have something on a corner where there was going to be visibility. And it's actually in a serene area, but it's beautiful. Just to give you a perspective, this space is 2,200 square feet. The space we're going into is 7,200 square feet.
Wow.
It's 5,000 square feet.
Spacious.
It's amazing. It's beautiful, it's white, it's 2 stories. There's a sanctuary in the back that is actually the warehouse, but we'll be finishing it off. And so it's got 2 stories high, with beautiful skylights of natural light coming in. There's 6 different healing rooms, a huge area for a gift shop, an office for me and for Tanya and Jesse, and an open reception area, and a large classroom off the reception area. And upstairs is a loft classroom that we're going to have laminate floors put in that will be for ecstatic dance, movement, yoga, anything that requires a hardwood floor. And we can throw some area rugs down if people want to do meditations up there. And it backs onto Lion Country Safari, what used to be Lion Country Safari. So out of our back window it says pathway that leads into these trails. And it's all this wood and serene and trees. And from the top window is these floor-to-ceiling windows where we see mountains. And it feels like a retreat. And it's right here. It's just at the end of Lake Forest. And here's the best part. The address is 11, Portal to Ascension number. And the street name is Goddard, Goddard. It's an old Germanic name that means divine bravery. So we have divine bravery into a portal to ascension. I mean, is anybody else like?
Chills all over.
This is just, I can't believe what we're creating here. We're going to be uniting all of the conscious communities in Orange County into one place. Oh.
What
I know
city is
this.
what city is gonna be in?
Pardon?
What city?
It's technically in Irvine, even though it's just down Lake Forest. It's Lake Forest, the north side of Lake Forest is Irvine, the south side of Lake Forest is Laguna Hills. But I mean, it's only a mile and a half. Thank you, Ron.
Not a clinic.
We haven't had to do that in a while.
I carry him now.
You can be my official Kleenex carrier, Ron. But
Is that off of Irvine Center Drive?
Yeah, you just, if you were to take Irvine Center Drive, you would take it all the way until it connects with Tesla, and then we're just off of, so it's in that little scientific area.
Okay.
Goddard was also an amazing mathematician. They named it after scientists in that area, Wald and Tesla and Goddard, but the name Goddard actually means divine bravery.
Hmm.
So I can't believe, and knowing that the angels took her there to that spot, I have this just amazing, complete sense of calm. And the listing broker said, oh, I have to call the owner. He said, I'm not sure if that's the kind of use he wants to have in there. And he called the owner who's in Hawaii, who came back and said, of course, it's fine. And there's all these little hurdles, and we're just handling one after the other. Here's this, here's this, here's our financials, here's our credit reports, you know, here's how we do it, and everything is just going smoothly, and I just have this, I keep holding this vision, I keep staying there, and so we're moving August 25th, August 27th, and we will be having 3 months of getting settled in, September, October, November. Starting on December 1st, we're going to have 12 days of festivities leading up to 12/12. And there will be parties and concerts and meditations and grids, and we'll have to have you guys come and play, and we're going to have a 12-day party leading up to 12/12 as our grand opening.
Will there be Sunday services while you're renovating it?
Oh yeah, because it's really, the warehouse is finished, the landlord is going to put down carpet, and the walls are finished. We've got a little bit of remodeling, the ceiling is unfinished, and we're going to be putting some beautiful drapes, but we'll be having Sunday services even, and we hopefully will have it done even by the first Sunday service, if not the second one, but it'll be functional in order for us to come in, so we're not going to miss a beat. We'll move in Monday, August 27th, and the first Holistic Healing Fair is that next weekend on September 1. We're not taking anything off the calendar. So we're a lot of organizations, so we'll be asking people to maybe help us, you know, come in and pack things up, and we'll have movers, but it'll be really beautiful and easy, and I'm just so excited, and it's amazing to me. The location is right on the cusp of South County and North County, and it's right at the end there, which accesses into the bay, so Newport Beach and Laguna Beach, all the beach cities have easy access to it. I think the Angels picked the most amazing location they could have found, and it's serene and quiet and beautiful, and we're going to be creating Orange County's conscious community in a real place, in a real building, and we're going to look substantive. And I'm just so amazed and gratified, and bringing everybody together. I mean, you guys feeling it too? I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? So please go out and spread the news and let everybody know, people in your community, people in your friends. The most important thing to do here is for us to gather and get strength in numbers. And instead of being scattered, we need to be centered, so that we can start the prayers that we do this morning that create this amazing world. When we can have Sunday services of 50 and 75 and 100 people in a service, and having 2 services on a Sunday, creating those same prayers every day, it will happen. It has to happen. When people with authentic integrity make those kind of prayers together, it happens. Those kind of visualizations. So the time is coming, and of course, you know, just at this place, and you know, we talk about archetypal energy. For those of you who've been hearing me mention, Anavon and I have 4 children together, and our youngest one is going away to college in September, and so I'm moving from the mother archetype into the life after being a mother archetype, the queen archetype, and as much as I'll miss my daughter, it's a different energy for me. I don't have to worry, you know, did she eat breakfast? Has she got her homework done? Did she get that physics lab turned in? What kind of grades does she have? Is she home? Where? And all of that mother energy is now I get to put that to rest and just turn into this creative force. And so I know, I knew when Selena was born, when I looked at it, she was going to graduate in June of 2012, and I knew then that there was something special about the time that she was born and how it all met, and there's order in everything. So this is a very exciting time. This is what we've all been waiting for. It's what we've been trying to create. It's what we've been building. And it's time for us all to come out of the closet, come out of our home, come out of working by ourselves and work in a community. And we synergize that way. We create more. So I'm going to ask you if there's something that you want to create. Create the space for it by seeing how it's possible. The minute you ask to have it revealed as to how it's possible, then all the limitations of it not being possible disappear so it can be presented to you right in front of you. And I can attest to that. I just had to see how it was possible. And the universe works really quickly, wouldn't you agree? It does not need time to sort things out and organize and go back. I mean, basically, it's like it's created up here, so the minute we're open to receive, it gets delivered. It's already created. We just need to be home to receive the package, to open the door. Let the UPS guy come in and have a sign for the package. It's already created, shipped, processed, boxed, ready to be handed over to us the second we become open to receive. And that's why manifestations happen so fast. The universe doesn't need time to create them. So we open our hearts to this new world. I am beyond excited. I have no idea what it's going to look like when we have this new space, and what it's going to mean to our community, and how the surrounding county is going to start having people, when they see a substantial building, it's going to give them the courage to come in, because there's strength in numbers. So I'm really asking all of you to tell all of your friends and family to set purposeful intent to hold the vision for this. And I'm so incredibly humbled that I get to be the one to lead this. I never would have thought. I never would have imagined. And I am so not stressed about this. I mean, it's just very easy. This is the power of our mind. And of course it can go the other way. So some of you remember last weekend I was promoting a double header of a movie that we were showing on Thursday and Friday. And the Thursday movie was People versus the State of Illusion. And I saw this movie with the director's cut, and it was really lovely. And this man made a movie. I'll tell you a little bit about it. I want to spoil it for you in case you do get an opportunity to see it, which I hope you do. It's a kind of a half dramatized, half documentary movie. So they have all of these guest speakers talking, but woven into it is the story of a man who is a single parent, and he has a little girl, and one day something happens that turns his life on a dime, and he loses everything. And the dramatization part of the story is his progress and his journey as he begins to recognize that he was imprisoned in his own belief system. And as he moves through the imprisonment, his life begins to change. And so they have all of these people that are talking about our belief systems and how it creates the reality. And it's everything that I've been saying, but just said a little differently from a different perspective. And so I found it very reaffirming and very confirming. And I thought it was ironic that we had the Secret of Love movie by Jane Gare as the executive producer, booked back in February to be shown on Friday night, May 4th. And it was only 3 weeks earlier that Victor and Marie got a connection from the executive producer and asked if we could show their movie on Thursday night. And we had to ask Jerry Yusko to set aside his ET channeling class to make room for them. And when I looked at the calendar and I saw that Jane was going for $10 and his was going for $15 prepay and $20 at the door, I thought, That's a lot of money to ask people to pay for a movie. You know, people don't pay $15, and you can go to Irvine Spectrum and get a 3D extravaganza for $15. So I offered it as a double feature at $10 each, and the temple actually gave up. We weren't going to be getting $1 of a share because we had to give them their share as though it was on the $15 mark. But I thought it was more important to see the movie, and it was more important to create a price that made it accessible to you. And I was willing to give up our couple of dollars per share to make sure that you got to see this movie because I thought it was amazing. And so we did this huge promotion here, and Tanya was up for hours on Tuesday creating this beautiful email that had the links on both of them, and she sent out that had all the information and the way to do the double feature. Wednesday night, we get a call from Danielle Marie, and she said, the producer says you only have 12 prepaid tickets, so he doesn't want to show up for less than 20, so he's not going to come, he's canceling the event. Tanya went ahead and accepted the exit. If I had taken the phone call and been present, and for some reason I wasn't present emotionally or physically when she took the call, had I been, I don't like cancellations. Energetically, it's like you're creating something and you're just creating it. I would have held him to it. I would have said, no, we're doing the movie. People will come, set the intention, get your butt here. But it got canceled, and she had to go through and call everybody, let them know, swipe refunds. She ended up staying here on Thursday night, fielding the people that came anyway. And as it turned out, there would have been about 35 people here.
Oh.
And so this man created this movie telling the world we can only be imprisoned by the thoughts that are there. And then ironically, he allowed himself to be imprisoned by the idea that no one was going to come to his movie. Clearly he had fears. No one was going to come to his movie. And so he canceled it, and he made his fears a reality. Nobody came to his movie because he canceled it. So sometimes we do teach what it is that we need to learn. But if you can take those two examples and see them as two sides of the coin and yet the same energy, yet the same message, we create our reality. Whether it's something we want or whether it's something we don't want, we create the reality that is in front of us. And I am going to get on the telephone and talk to this man, and I'm going to point out what happened to him in case for some reason it wasn't on his level of consciousness what happened. And if somebody as brilliant as him who made that movie needs to have someone point out what happened to him so that he can change his thinking and start creating a different reality for his movie, then it was perfect. And there is order in chaos. Because everything is perfect, everything is, even if we create something we don't want, we're going to get something out of it. We're going to get some kind of lesson. We're going to get, and lesson sounds very punitive, but I mean, a lesson is simply something we learn. It's an opportunity for growth. So I hope that I'm going to connect with this man. I'm setting the intention that I can have a conversation with him that gives him an opportunity for growth so he can expand his consciousness and get this movie out to more and more people. So I do hope that you get an opportunity to see it. It's called The People versus the State of Illusion. And we will somehow find a way to get it to you, or I think you may be able to go to, if you Google it, you can probably you can buy the DVD of it, but hopefully we'll be able to get it shown here. It's a lovely movie, it's a perfect message, and it's a beautiful creation of a message that says we create our reality. And that's why now in the opening prayers, if you heard me, I added, we normally do our poise, our opening our heart space, we go down and connect to the earth, we go up to the ethers, we spread it all around, and now I'm adding the part where we're visualizing the world that we're creating. Every time, every week, we will reaffirm that creation. And I believe in every cell of my body in that vision. I will see it. We will all see a world of clean energy, people having enough food to eat, shelter and clothing, and a brotherhood of government and economy. We will create that. I won't accept anything less, do you? That is possible. We are creating that, irrefutably. And the more of us that hold that vision every week, the more powerful it becomes. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share that. Awesome story. So I'm going to get that Fabienne. Any questions about the new space? Any ideas, suggestions? Yeah?
I say I admire you for having such wonderful faith.
Thank you. Thank you. Some might call it stubborn.
I call it faith.
My parents would call it strong-willed. But you know what? I own that. I like being strong-willed. I want something, I see it, I'm going to create it, and don't tell me I can't.
Yes.
You know, and if you want to tell me I can't, you know. So, yeah, I was the queen of strong-willed temper tantrums when I was younger. So when I see kids having temper tantrums and being strong-willed, I kind of admire them. Like, I kind of like that about them. Don't give up. Be strong-willed. Because being strong-willed really is just having a vision and holding it and not letting anybody negatively tell you that you can't do it. As long as your will is for the greater good. My favorite philosopher, Immanuel Kant, his philosophy called the categorical imperative. It is imperative that everything we think of, if it was done categorically to everybody, how would it be? If you drop a piece of trash on the floor, ask yourself, what would it be like if everybody in the world dropped a piece of trash on the floor? Is that the world I want to see? If I stop using a microwave and I carpool and I use something organic, then I'm going to say, if everybody in the world did what I did, what would the world look like? That's the categorical imperative. Everything that you do, ask yourself, what would the rest of the world look like if they did the same thing? So strong-willed, you bet. I see a vision, I see it good for everybody, I hold on to it, and I'm okay with the rest of the world having the same kind of attitude, because where would we be if everybody had authentic visions filled with integrity and common purpose? So, thank you, Fabienne. Welcome.
Thank you.